Some stocks are such wild traders, it's like they give you whiplash every earnings season. Take Hasbro, which has reported some real nasty quarters through no fault of its own, since Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy a year and a half ago, ultimately flooding the industry with excess inventory. Every time it seemed like the toy maker had gotten over the worst of the issues, bam, they report another shortfall. At the beginning of the year, Hasbro was trading at a multi-year low, and hardly anyone wanted to stick their neck out on this one for fear of getting their head chopped off. But CEO Brian Goldner kept reassuring us that the problems were temporary and a turnaround would soon be at hand. He told a terrific story when he came on this show February 11th. I don't know about you, but I felt like, you know what? The bottom is here. And I sure hope you took him seriously and agree with me, because when Hasbro reported this morning, they shot the lights out. Companies earning 21 cents. Wall Street was looking for an 11-cent loss, much higher than expected sales. In response, the stock surged more than $12, or a little over 14%, cruising back into triple-digit territory. So could this thing have more upside now that the comeback has arrived? Let's check in with Brian Goldner, the chairman and CEO of Hasbro, to get a better sense of this amazing quarter and his company's turnaround. Mr. Goldner, welcome back to Mad Money.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
Well, Brian, I got to tell you, you told our viewers that this was about to happen, and there are not just one surprise. There were many surprises that occurred this quarter that were so great. Could you tick down a couple of them so people realize how many things went right for Hasbro this quarter?
Well, we saw good growth across many segments of our business. Our franchise brands were up. Our gaming business was up. Our emerging brands were up. Our partner brands were down a bit, but we view that as timing. As we get into the second quarter and subsequent quarters, we have an amazing array of Disney-led initiatives. And then, we also saw that Magic the Gathering Arena grew in the quarter, and we're seeing the traction around Magic the Gathering Arena. Our gamers are playing the game. More than 700 million games have been played, people spending about 8 hours a week playing. And so we're seeing some great progress. In our international markets, our European business has moved ahead. We expected to see a turnaround in international markets, and they were up absent Forex in the quarter. And we're seeing that kind of progress in a growth of our retail footprint. So overall, feeling that we've made that kind of progress that we wanted to make toward profitable growth for 2019.
Could you speak a little more about Magic Gathering? I'm sure that 700 million is kind of lost on people. That's a kind of a 0 to 2,000 miles per hour situation. I was shocked at how quickly this thing's taken off.
Well, we've been growing Magic the Gathering for a number of years in tabletop, and what's been so heartening is we've been investing to build our digital capability as a company and to engage with gamers. We're now in beta on Magic the Gathering Arena, and it's continuing to increase in retention and engagement and monetization. We were just at PAX East in Boston, which was a mythic invitational event for Magic. It was $1 million prize pool in our esports league, and we're seeing players engage with the brand. It's very heartening to see how both tabletop as well as Magic Arena Digital is growing. We're getting an array of new players. We're also getting a lot more in-store players, because remember, Magic began as a face-to-face game. And so it's the entire ecosystem that's growing, and we'll roll Magic Arena out around the world. You'll see a number of new events and esports initiatives and new digital initiatives, and then an array of a suite of other games around Magic the Gathering, a more casual game for mobile that will come later called Valor's Reach, and that's in test market right now.
All right, Brian, how is it possible that games of my generation, Play-Doh and Monopoly, or something like Transformers, which seems so old, are brand new? The numbers are extraordinary. How does this happen?
Well, we continue to reinvent, reimagine, and reignite these brands. We're always bringing new stories and new characters based on proprietary consumer insights. So for Transformers, obviously, last holiday we had Bumblebee as a feature film. Now we're in the home entertainment window. We saw incredible results around the world, including in China. So at Transformers brand, we continue to tell new stories. In fact, we're now partnering with CCTV, National Chinese Television, for a story that combines a Transformers mythology with Chinese mythology, a series called Transformers Nezha that will air first time since the 1980s, Transformers on television in prime time in China. And that's an area that we're really growing. We want to continue to tell stories, engage digitally, and continue to reinvent, reignite these brands.
Well, I got to hand it to you in terms of just new storylines. Monopoly Cheaters Edition? Monopoly Fortnite? How are these doing?
I know, they're doing quite well. And then, of course, we have our Game of Thrones edition. We have some new editions coming later this year. We'll have a Lion King edition for Monopoly. But just good old, what we call number 9 Monopoly is also growing. People want to be back and playing games face-to-face. They want the social interaction. Monopoly has an array of new games. Our overall games business was up 20%. And we feel like we can continue to reinvent and reignite in that category as well.
I want you to talk a little bit about the kind of people you can get because of what you do in terms of social things. One of the things that we've been working on in 2019, identifying the companies that do well and therefore, by nature, actually do well for shareholders. You've had a phenomenal record of corporate shareholder responsibility, and I bet you the people you get are people that you would not otherwise be able to get if you weren't doing things like this.
You know, we're very proud of the fact that we've been named the world's most ethical company for our 8th year in a row. That we're a top corporate citizen. And in fact, we're building incredible capabilities, people coming to work from us from all over the world. We're opening and increasing offices around the world. In Los Angeles, we have an incredible games office is where Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons exists, outside of Seattle, Washington, and growing around the world. And then, of course, our home headquarters here in Rhode Island, bringing in new capability. And half of our employees to the company are new over the last 5 to 6 years. So always thinking about those new skill sets, engaging with an array of audiences, and being open to everyone who can join Hasbro as an equal opportunity employer.
There's something that is non-cynical about the people who are successful. And I think that you are completely non-cynical in what you bring to the party. You must be getting the cream of the crop of people who want to do something other than just program.
Well, you know, it's so interesting. Our mantra is making the world a better place for children and their families. And we all give back to the communities around the world. As we go into new markets, one of the first things we look for are ways to give back to those communities. And that's really just the watchword of everybody in the company. We have an amazing team. I have an amazing array of colleagues. And it's really the team that's performed at such a high level this quarter. They've gotten traction in the market much earlier than we had expected. We got some gains that we've certainly expected throughout the year, but it's great to see in the first quarter. So we can get aligned with our constituents, and they can see what we see, which is a return to profitable growth this year. And we expect, as we continue, if a few more things break right, that 2020 can look like 2017, and we'll be back on track and beyond the Toys R Us disruption. Okay,
thank you so much to Brian Goldner, Chairman, President, CEO of Hasbro. This stock is not done going higher. Mad Money's back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.